Hello crafty friends, welcome to today's video. Once again I'm going to be using one of my charity shop finds. I've got this Sizzix Thin Lits die and it's number 662549 or Waves it's called. And I'm going to try lots of ideas with this die to hopefully give you lots of ideas of things you can do with similar dies in your stash. This is an Aperture die, so these techniques should work with any Aperture dies. Right, I've got a panel of hammered textured white card here. I'm going to pop this on the front, in the middle, hopefully straightish. It's a bit of a wonky pattern, so it's not going to be too much of a problem if it's not on perfectly straight. I'm going to hold that down with washi tape. And because this is such an intricate die, I'm going to use my electronic die cutting machine to save me having to crank the handle on my manual die cutting machine too many times. So I place this on the magnetic mat, and to help it cut I'm going to place a piece of craft foam. It's only a few millimeters thick, but it seems to help things cut really well. I'm also going to put the metal shim, and I always top off my cutting sandwich with a self-healing cutting mat because it prevents everything from warping. So now hopefully I'll have a pretty well cut piece of card. This washi tape is going to be well adhered because of all the pressure, so I'm going to warm it to soften the adhesive before I try and remove it. Now I can give that a good shake and that will get out most of the bits. Then I can just pop out the rest. That's cut beautifully. So now I've got this, it can be just placed on top of a card, and that will give you a lovely bit of texture in the background for whatever you wanted to put on top. But you can also back the aperture. This is a bit from my box of backgrounds and bits, and I think that would look nice through there. I'm going to cut the background down so it's just smaller than the front panel. To stick this down, I'm going to use high-tack white glue. I'll go all the way around the outside of the card, all the way around the pattern. But to get some glue on the pattern itself, I'm going to use my silicone glue dotter. If you want to know how to make one of these, there is a video linked below. I'm going to hold the paper really still so I don't accidentally shift it around and smear it through any glue that's gone through the holes. Wipe up the mucky bits and then place that on there, making sure to hide the edges behind. I think I needed to cut a little bit of excess off there, so when I locate my scissors I'll do that. Give it a nice neat edge. Press that down with a bit of sticker release paper. It's just non-stick paper. Stops you getting mucky fingerprints on the card or glue on your fingers. So pop that on the front of my card blank. Looking very pretty. I will give it a die cut and a sentiment at some point and show you how that looks at the end of the video. That's a very simple way of using it. Just back the aperture. So for this next one, I'm going to die cut it in exactly the same way using my electronic die cutting machine, but I'm going to die cut into the card blank rather than a panel, and I will keep this open so I don't accidentally die cut all the way through. Right, that's worked fine apart from the fact that I obviously didn't tape it down properly, so it shifted off to the side, but do you know what? We're going to make it work. So you could leave it like that with just a hole. That's quite nice. You could give it a bit of rigidity by backing it with a piece of acetate. You could back it with some pattern paper or a DIY pattern paper. You just need to make sure that the inside isn't unattractive. You could adhere your pattern paper to the inside of the back of the card, and the sender of the card could write on that. And yes, the writing will be visible through the aperture in the front, but that doesn't matter. It can be quite attractive. So again, now that just needs maybe a die cut here at a jaunty angle and a sentiment at another jaunty angle to make the jaunty angle of this look purposeful. Also, I'm not going to make a shaker card today because I've made quite a few recently. But you could back this with acetate and create a well and fill it with glitter or something so that you've got a really pretty glittery shaker pocket. Right, what we're going to do next is some dry embossing using our die. So I've got my embossing sandwich in its embossing configuration. Thick plate, cutting plate, rubber mat, card, die, cutting side facing down, and then another cutting plate on top. Right, so I've done that with a plain white piece and a DIY background made with smushing. Got some lovely texture there. Sometimes you can get a little bit of cutting, maybe even a little bit of tearing. You could try adjusting your embossing sandwich. Instead of using a rubber mat in your sandwich, you could try just using some craft foam and see if that reduces any tearing or accidental cutting through. So I've got this piece of white dry embossing, and I'm not overly keen on the way the little bumps are protruding further than everything else. So although I've dry embossed it, I'm going to flatten it again, but that won't remove all the pattern. It will just make it all the same level. So I used my die cutting sandwich and placed this between two plates. And now that's very subtle, but it's still there. But with any of these dry embossed patterns, you can actually ink over them and the embossing will catch the colour in interesting ways. So you can add colour to your dry embossed panels as you would with panels you've embossed with an embossing folder. So the first one there was speckled egg, and now I've got a bit of salvage patina to get some variation in strength and colour. Just to add a bit of shimmer and shine to this, I'm going to spritz on some of my white pearl shimmer spray and leave that to dry. So for my next technique, I'm going to use my Aperture die to make a DIY stencil. And somehow I didn't put the lid back on this luscious powder properly, and when I got it out to make up some paste, it went everywhere. So I've shaken off as much as I can. And now I've got plenty to play with. This is the colour Peacock, by the way, and I'm going to mix it with some indigo blue, super thick Slap It On. Great for stenciling and creating texture. Try adding paint, pigments, glitter or microbeads for a fabulous effect. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to mix this paste, this Slap It On, with the luscious powders that I've managed to get absolutely everywhere. Okay, I'm happy with that. Just going to wipe myself up a clean area to work on. And I've got a piece of card here and a stencil that I made using the die. It's just another piece of card. Because it's so fiddly, I didn't even attempt to cut it from Mylar. And I'm going to carefully spread this. I don't know if I'm going to get some serious splurging. Just want to be very gentle. You don't have to use pastes. You can use whatever stenciling techniques you like. Let's see if it's worked and I haven't got too much splurging. Might be able to cover up any splurging using die cuts and things. So there's a little bit, but that's not too bad for quite a delicate cardstock stencil. That's going to take a while to dry, but I'm happy with that. I don't want to waste this paste, so I'm going to do a bit of partial stenciling. And so as not to waste this piece, I can cover this actually in texture paste to give it some colour and to give it some interesting texture. I'm going to pounce on it with my smusher. And that can now be left to dry and could be used on the front of a card somehow. We'll have a think about that. And I've got rather a nice texture paste pattern there, so I wonder if we can pick that up. Yeah, that's a splodge that can go in my box of backgrounds and bits for use at a future date. Right, it's been a couple of hours since I did the texture paste and it is virtually dry. But what I want to do to cover up the smudges and the splurges is to put another die cut on top. So obviously the texture paste won't protrude like it would normally, but I just wanted to see how this would look. So I put glue on the front panel in the same way as I did before. And now that has locked nicely around the texture paste. This one's dry as well, so I thought I might use this in a frame. So I've cut a frame from card and stuck it on the front, and I'm going to use the same die to cut out a chunk of this one. So now I've got the centre piece out. I'm going to add glue to the back again and see if we can wangle this into the frame. And then we have a lovely shimmery, shiny, partial die cut filling a frame. Could also put a frame over this partial piece of stenciling and trim it down. And then we've got a bit we can stick on the front of a card like that. Right, onto another technique, and that is to use stamping foam. I'll show you how this works rather than trying to explain it. I do have a video that goes into a lot more detail about stamping foam, so do check that out. I'll link it below. So first of all, we heat it up with a heat tool. When it's good and hot, you flip it over and press it onto something textured, like a die, and then give it a good press down for a few seconds so that that texture transfers into the foam. And then you get the pattern in the foam and it will stay there until we heat it again. Now that hasn't done a brilliant job, so I'm going to tweak it a bit and see if I can get a better impression. And I'm going to do that by gluing my die to this stamp block. And then I'm going to press the stamp block down into the stamping foam. And that worked really well. So now that's permanent until I heat it again. Once that's cooled down, you can add some ink. I'm going to go over this with salvage patina. Throw on a bit of speckled egg as well. And I'm going to give it a mist with some shimmer spray. You can use just water. This is not going to give you a perfect stamped impression. It's going to be quite distressed and grungy. And now I'm going to press my card down into this. I'm actually going to use the smooth side, not the hammered side, because it will give me a better impression. And there you go, as I said, quite grungy and distressed. There's plenty of ink on there still. So I'll do another one. This will be a lighter impression. So it's very pale pastel-y, but you can still see the waves there. Now we're on to our last technique for today, and we're going to do dry embossing again. But before we put the die on the paper, I'm going to ink it up. I've got salvage patina here, just because it's to hand. I'm not being particularly careful about how I add it. This is, again, going to give us a bit of a distressed look. And this is really kind of faux letterpress. You're pressing with a metal die into paper, but you're inking up the die, so hopefully you'll get some transfer of the ink into the embossing. Now you want to put this down in exactly the right place first time and not move it, and then dry emboss as normal. And then when you take your die out, you've got the dry embossing, but you've got ink pushed down into the grooves. Just remember to clean your die off before you use it for anything else. So we've got lots of backgrounds and partial cards made. I'm going to finish these off and come back in a tick to show you how they turned out. Right, I'm back and I've got, I think, 11 cards to show you. This was the one where I backed to the Aperture with some splodgy watercolory mixed media that I'd done. I simply added a With Love up here about 1/3 of the way down, 1/3 of the way in, crossing over the patterned part and the white part. And then I added a column of hearts cascading down, restrained to this sentiment column here. And I do love gold and purple together. Gold is a kind of yellow, purple is obviously purpley violet. They're opposite each other on the colour wheel, so they tend to bring out the best in each other. I decided to stick with gold for my sentiments and accents for the most part. This is the one where I just cut into a piece of white cardstock and then stuck it on a card blank. I did actually cut it down in the end to make a smaller panel and to have a nice border around the outside. I punched these hearts from the splurgy bit of luscious powder slap it on paste that I had left on my mat, this bit here, and I used a large one to anchor the sentiment about 1/3 of the way up, and then I added some more little ones around and about. I do like to scatter small things on the front of my cards, and I think that's quite impactful. We've got some nice texture from the die cut in the background, but the attention is brought to the front, to the sentiment, by the colour and the gold. Now here's the one where I made the die cut in the card blank itself, and it went through the machine wonky. So I embraced the wonk by putting on a wonky hello and a wonky heart. And there was a little bit too much space down this side of the card, so I added a strip of gold foil cardstock with the stitching detail. I think this card is perfectly fine. I really like being able to see through to the colour on the inside. But for me, it feels like a compromise because I really wish that I'd managed to get that to cut straight. But for a compromise card, I think it works fine. This is the background that I dry embossed and then inked with the salvage patina and speckled egg, I think it was. I cut it down quite small to give us a nice chunky border. And then I added To a Fabulous Friend in gold down here. And to balance that, I put a branch of gold coming in from the side, and I don't think it needs anything else. This was the pink bit of cardstock that I dry embossed. I did stick it on a card blank in the video, I think, but I decided I didn't like it so big. I wanted it smaller, so I chopped the front of the card down and popped it on here to give it a nice chunky border again. And I added a white frame around the outside to kind of corral it in, and then a gold thanks and some gold circles which I covered in Nouveau Crystal Glaze. And that gives them a slightly domed appearance. These are the two stamping foam cards. This is the first impression, that's the second impression. Again, I cut them both down for that chunky white border, and it helps focus the eye into the card. I added You Are Amazing here and a little diagonal of tiny hearts, and then a big hello on a white outline. And I added a gold branch with a white branch behind it to echo the gold on white. This is the one where I stenciled through texture paste and then put a clean die cut over the top once it had dried. If you tilt it in the light, you do get a lovely shimmer and shine from the luscious powder. I die cut a gold thanks, and I die cut its outline from vellum. I didn't want to obscure completely the pattern in the background. I did think about adding some dots or some hearts, I think I'm going to leave it as is. I think it's quite striking. So these cards were made with the leftover bits. On both of them, I added some white die cuts that I cut with dies that remind me a bit of seaweed because we've got the wave thing going on. And then I added two sentiments that I cut from gold and backed with white. I didn't feel it had enough impact though, or enough contrast between the white die cuts and everything else that was white. So I thought I would grungify it up with a bit more gold, and I took my gold gilding gum that I made with, I think it's the gold luscious powder and the indigo blue gilding gum, and I just put some in a distressed manner on the frames and on the seaweed to bring in more shimmer and shine and to help things pop a little bit. Now it's a bit grungy, and I think of all the cards, these are my least favourite, but they're okay. And now onto the last card. This is the Faux letterpress card. Again, I cut the panel down, nice chunky border, a gold thankful 1/3 of the way down, and then I added a mixture of gold and bluey hearts tumbling down the card like that. Right, there you have a whole bunch of cards made with that one wave die. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's given you a bunch of ideas of things you can do with your own Aperture dies. If it has, please do let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you back here very soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.